There are so many things you cannot control in the cleaning business. Our hose blows up, our trailer catches on fire, or we have a wreck on the way to the job site. Those are things that people don't think about.
So this is Lucid After Hours. We're here in Meridian, Mississippi with the Godfather, Ryan Godwin. We are working a project in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Maybe you can explain, give some backstory here, some context, how you got connected, with the casino to begin with.
Yeah, the casino project was interesting because we had no clue what was going on. Like, as a company, we had no idea.
You didn't know the project was coming up.
Yeah, we didn't know. They sent it out to bidders, or they sent it out to, they were calling local companies or local-ish companies around the area. And we're on SEO, we're on Google, we're on all those things. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them. We never got a phone call from them. Email, phone call, anything. But luckily, through the years in the industry and just networking and socializing and having just conversations with people, there's a local washer probably about 90 miles south from here that got the call. And he's too booked and didn't want to deal with it because it was so big. And so he called us and we had a short conversation, and he was like, "Hey, would you like to bid it? And here's the lady's number, here's the RFP, here's all you need to know." And then he proceeded to call the lady and say, "Hey, we think this guy is the one that needs to do it because he does it with drones, and he's safer. He's all this stuff." He basically echoes what we echo, and so he called, and then essentially got us in contact, and then we took the ball from there. We also got contacted by other companies to try to go in with them, sub on them. They wanted us to help do the project because they knew we were close, and they knew the work we did, and they know the scope of work that we constantly do.
Like, step one, you get to the job site. What's the first thing you're looking for?
Well, if we're going to look at the building for the first time, I'm not going to walk or site walk.
Yep.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at visual cues when I pull up. Like, it starts when I'm half a mile away. I'm seeing how tall it is. I'm starting to look at it, looking at entry points, looking at parking areas. I mean, it even starts with parking. Like, where can we park at this site to not be in the way? Where can we, access things? Then, of course, you go meet the people. You pull up, park, and meet your host.
Sure.
And then after that, my first question to them is, where's the water? Where's our water spigots, our hookups? Are they readily available? Do they all work? I mean, that's critical, crucial. Number one, you can't do the job without water.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So after that, on this project in particular, we checked water sources around where we think we would park, and I asked to get on the roof because it's about a 40-foot wall and roof to the casino. So you've got your big tall part we're cleaning the whole thing, but
this is the backside.
Yeah.
The north side.
Yeah. So we go through the whole casino, get on the elevators. They show us the routes, how to get everywhere. And because that's important too, because what if we had to climb up a ladder or this or that? We're trying to get batteries on the roof or
the drone.
And
the drone on the roof.
Yeah, I mean the drone. So typically we'll fly a drone from the ground up to the roof, and then we'll have our batteries stationed somewhere close by. But are there plugs up at the roof where we can plug in, or am I going to have to try to get a generator on the roof, or am I going to have to run
to charge your batteries?
A half a mile of walking to go charge batteries, which is no good, no bueno. I mean, it just won't work. I mean, it's very kind of back of the scenes kind of thing. But so we'll go with a host, right? And we'll step out on the roof, and then at that point, we're looking at heights. We're looking at difficulties. Are there air conditioners out there? Are there vents out there? What's the hose going to snag on? How many feet of hose do I think it's going to take to go from where we need to park to where we need to clean? What obstacles are in the way? Are there drains on the roof? How much is your drop if you're going up the side of the building to get on the flat roof, what's your drop like right there? Is it 40 feet, 30 feet, 20 feet? And then you have to start doing the math and figuring out how much hose you're going to need to drag to the wall for you to then go up 100, 150, 160 feet with a drone. So you've got to be thinking 10 steps ahead before you even put a price on this thing. And
You're mapping out the project,
right.
basically.
You're mapping it out. You're taking mental notes or even notes on your phone. Sometimes I put it on my phone. Sometimes it's just mental.
Yep.
At this point, it's mental because we do it so much.
How much hose are you using? What length of hose are you using on the backside of this to get to your rig and to your water source?
Yeah, we're going to use roughly in soft wash hose. We're going to use roughly between 500 and 600 feet,
That's
depending
insane.
on where we are.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's a long pull
Yeah.
for a soft wash pump. So
And the pump's handling it. I mean, the pump is handling the 500, 600 feet.
Yeah.
And so you're going from half inch
Yep.
to 3/8,
Yep.
and then to quarter.
Yeah. Today we flew with half inch to 3/8 only. But as we get taller and taller, we're going to go from half inch to 3/8 to quarter.
To quarter.
Because what you want to do is you want to funnel it down and not force it. You just get a better flow rate out to the drone. Because with these soft wash pumps, there's not a lot of head pressure.
Yeah.
We're not running 4,000 PSI at 10 gallon a minute. We're running maybe 275, 300 at 10 gallon a minute. So it's all about flow rate. So
Yeah.
and we could even step up if we were running longer. We could go 5/8, half inch, 3/8. There's different ways to step it, but the key is to gradually bring it down over a length instead of going, half inch straight to like quarter inch.
Yeah.
The way the EFIS, the way it's rolling, the chemical application is rolling off the EFIS is slowing us down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wasn't planned. Typically, when I looked at it, I thought, oh, it's EFIS. When I've knocked on it, you kind of, when EFIS is stuck, you'll knock on it and you'll hear the difference. Normally, EFIS is more of a flatter surface. It's got a little texture to it, but it's a flatter surface, harder surface, doesn't absorb as much as like stucco would. It'll still absorb, but not as much. So in looking at it on that
but that textured surface is a complication.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but talking about our wall, I looked at that on the wall.
Yeah.
And I did not take anything to spray on the wall. So I didn't know. So I used previous, projects that I've done or things I've done, and I assumed that it would float on that wall pretty good.
Yeah.
But what we have found day one is it in fact does not. The texture surface along with, the joints and all that, as we're spraying, it's literally sticking and it is not running down the building. So typically when you clean at heights and you clean up at the top, we start at the top and work our way down. By the time you run down, your chemical's running down the building with you. So typically you're not wasting chemical, you're actually cleaning more by
because it's sheeting down.
Starting to sheet down. There's no sheet on this building, so it's causing us to be a little bit slower than I anticipated.
It's a little bit slower, and you're using a little bit more product.
A little more product, yeah.
Front of the building, it's more difficult?
No,
the same?
Copy and paste. The front of the building, so the back of the building is more complicated because it's longer. Because think of it as a turn. Your outer side of the turn is longer than the inner side of the turn.
Right.
So the back side is the most complicated. It's the dirtiest because it's north facing. It's the longest side of the building. So that's why we chose to start there, because we want to try to knock out the hardest first. So we're running downhill through the projects that are climbing uphill.
Yeah, you've learned your hardest lessons on the worst part.
Yeah.
And that's going to make the rest of the project just go smooth.
Yeah, yeah. So we know what we're up against, and now we can adapt and evolve as we go. I mean, on our way back in today, so my guys that work with me are so good that on our drive in, we had a 40-minute drive back. We were discussing what can we do tomorrow to maybe get a better coat on the building.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a pinhole stream, can we get like an X-Jet nozzle or M5 twist, as some people call them?
Yeah.
And can we manipulate that stream a little bit to get a better coating on it,
better coverage?
Yeah. And we even talked about and debated, because we've been doing it so long together as a team that we were debating on, is that quarter inch and that 3/8 going to slow the flow enough to where when we start fanning it out, can we get to the building? Do we have to be closer? All those things. It's not just, hey, let's throw a tip on, let's go. It's, through experience, you're using what you've gathered over time to see, hey, can we throw a wider fan at a decent distance so we're not putting the drone in harm's way? Mm-hmm. That's number one, right? You don't want to put people or drone in harm's way. So can we do it safely? So we're going to try in the morning, first thing, to see if we can fan tip or X-jet tip and see what kind of coverage we can get to speed it up. But for one day of work, 9 hour, we started at 9, we got a little slow start, had to be out there about 5, we were out there by 4, just because we ran out of a little bit of chemical, you know. We got, I don't know how many hours that is of work, but we've got almost half of the back of the hardest part done in that time frame.
Yeah, so you're moving, although maybe not as quickly as you anticipated, still moving relatively quickly.
Yeah. So I mean, compared to traditional methods on the thing, so each drop, each of those sections that are there, would be a drop.
Yeah.
And then you would have to also climb the building because on that casino, there's no access to a roof because the way it's designed, you would literally have to climb that circular part, or you would have to go from the top and climb down, and then hook off and then go down.
So it would take weeks or probably months to do it with the traditional methods of dropping, propelling down.
It would, and that's the only option for that thing other than drone because it's so deep in there that you can't get a crane or a lift even.
Yeah, because you have to be on the roof. You can't access it.
There's anywhere from 100 to 200 feet of roof foot frontage.
Yep.
Around that hotel or that building that's in the middle because it's directly in the middle.
Walk us through the bid process. How did you formulate your bid package for the casino?
Well, there's a couple ways I look at the bid process. Actually, I mean, it's everything we do is by square foot, right? For the most part, everything we get height, length measurements. This thing slopes down, so we kind of see how long the slope is, get the lowest point, the highest point, do an average, and then that's how we kind of multiply out our surface square footage on it. But then when you start, what a lot of people don't realize, the bigger the project gets, the more money that's on the table with it. So for example, if you do your standard square foot price and you've got 100,000 square feet versus 10,000 that you're normally doing at, the prices start getting astronomical, just astronomical.
Right.
So we always start with that process. We'll bid it by square foot, or I'll start putting together a package bidding it by square foot. And I'll look at the price. Now, and a lot of just an educated guess on my end, like, oh, this is 300,000. They ain't going for that. Yeah. I mean, there's no way they're gonna pay this for this service and all. So then I start backing into it. So what I'll do is I'll estimate, okay, this many square feet, well, this chemical at this ratio covers this amount of square feet on a good day, average should be. And then I'll estimate my cost to do the project, and then I'll do the old contractor method. Everything's a third, a third, a third. So it's going to cost me for material, let's call it $30,000. I multiply out 30, or add 30, 30, 30. Multiple of 3. That's the way old contractors do it. You go and get your floor, your roof, whatever done, because it's a lot of times it's labor, material, profit for the business, profit for the owner. Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of them do it. So we'll back into the number that way a lot of times. And then, so one may be realistically at $100,000, one may be at 160, and sometimes we'll even average them, just to try to play fair. Because the biggest thing about bidding these projects is these bids are all over the board. Like I've seen bids where somebody may bid 30,000, somebody may bid 60,000, somebody may be 200,000 on the same project. You're like, how do you, it's kind of like the Wild West. There's all kind of bids. So I'll measure by square feet to get a baseline. And then I will take my cost and what my estimates are and kind of do that method to back into my price. And that's kind of how I determine a final price.
Okay. Well, 30, 30, 30, that's like kind of a good just sort of baseline for people to kind of, use as a template. That's great.
Well, because you get crazy. I mean, if you're doing 500,000 square feet on a build, these bigger projects, I mean, you can get out of line quick with a 25 cent per square foot rate. Yeah. You can get way out of there. And then you're wondering why your client's not calling you back or won't answer the phone. And they're like, well, heck, you gave me a bid that was 6 times higher than the next guy.
Right.
So, these big projects pay good money, but you have to learn how to bid them, and I think that's a really good way to do it. It's worked for us. I mean, there could be a better way, but
Yeah.
that's how it works for us.
We were talking earlier, and you mentioned using AI to kind of build out your contracts. I'd love to, have you walk through how you did that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we're not the technology company that built the technology, but we're a company that implements technology. So why not think about AI? AI could come up with square footages. AI could come up with math to help you. So what we did is, so we on this project, not every project you'll get an RFP or RFQ. So
Yeah.
but this project we did. So what I did was I plugged into ChatGPT, which is the AI I use the most, and plugged in the RFP in it and gave it prompts to, I want to create a proposal based off of this RFP, and here's what I want to charge for the building. And I want you to read it and spit out an exact proposal for what they're asking for. And it spit out a 6-page document that aligned with their 6 or 7-page document, and basically rewrote it and telling them what they should expect, how they should expect it, the price of the product, the deposits that they even asked, deposits, payment schedules. It broke it all out for it, and I was like, hey, well, add my logo too. So it's not just generic.
Yeah.
So add my logo to the top. Sign my name at the bottom, or just I overlooked it. I looked it over, and it was great. I mean, it was the best proposal that, I don't want to say that I've ever written, but that I've ever given out.
So like, just break that down a little bit. Like, you took their RFP,
Yep.
their RFQ, you threw that into ChatGPT,
Mhm.
along with like
prompts.
along with your pricing,
Yep.
some of your requirements that you need to have in there, and then it throws all that together. You read through it, edit it where needed, and then you send that off to your customer.
Yeah. The big thing is read.
Read,
Yeah,
because
before you
sometimes
send it.
it's not always going to be.
This is a legal document.
Yeah,
Technically. I mean, it's an agreement that I'm sending, or a proposal, and if they agree to that proposal, then I have to do what's in it.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean,
So read through it carefully.
Very carefully. But yeah, I mean, essentially that's it. I threw it all into a melting pot, ChatGPT, and it spit out this beautiful proposal that, even if I mean, and I've been doing this for a while, I couldn't even put that proposal together with my knowledge I have now, as eloquently as it did. I mean,
It's taken into account all the details that are in the RFQ that you might even overlook.
yeah, because it's reading every word.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I may skim through
So
it.
it actually may help you a little bit. It may actually be an insurance policy because it's reading everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it's not going to skip over certain things like
Right.
like a human might.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at time frame, what they need done, and that's kind of it. And then I'll figure everything else out when I go talk to them.
Because they can even figure out some of the gotchas.
Oh yeah, it'll read all the gotchas, and then when it spits out your proposal, it'll have answers to the gotchas in there based off of. So I also I put that in, put pricing in, put our standard operating procedures in it, and put our terms that we have in it.
Right.
And I said, make me a proposal based off my information and their RFP, and it put it all together and put out this wonderful thing. It also makes you look more professional. Like, what wash company?
It's definitely going to set you apart from, Joe down the road,
100%.
who's not thinking about an AI generated proposal.
I guarantee you that my proposal for that casino was probably the most put together proposal they'd seen, because I know what my normal proposals are, and this one beat 100-fold. And I'll just tell you this: every big proposal, if we're doing a $10,000 job, I'm not going to sit there and just generate this crazy proposal. But if we're doing something that matters, these big, not that 10,000 doesn't matter, but these massive jobs that we tend to find ourselves on, I'm going to utilize ChatGPT or whatever AI that's next, or because I believe that AI is the future of helping us as a business owner.
Where did this project land, dollar-wise?
Yeah. So this one landed right around the $100,000 mark.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big
Yeah.
one. I mean, but when you see the scope and the size,
Yeah, it's a massive project.
it's reasonable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're landing. I mean, like our cost, we're looking at, on this project, we'll roughly profit 65 to 75%, depending on how long it actually takes us to do it. So as it stands, I have it, scheduled or we'll probably make 75% based off chemical spendage and labor. Um, but if we go a few days extra or whatever, wind, rain, whatever the case may be, we're looking at, we could start diving to the 65% or something happens. So, but comfortably, I could say we're about 65 to 75% margin on this project.
I mean, that's a fantastic margin. That's insane. I think it's really also good for everyone to kind of understand. Yeah, we're forecasting 65% worst case, 75% best case. But those things, that kind of gray area in the middle is, it could be weather, it could be an equipment failure on a pump or with the drone or with hoses, or it could really be anything. But you've kind of built that in, to the project,
Yeah.
and up front, okay, if it takes a couple extra days, yeah, it eats into my profit, but I've already planned for that, and I'm okay with a 65% margin.
Yeah.
And at those numbers, yeah, you're okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, right? I mean, because there's so many unforeseeable things in this,
Yeah.
in the weather or in drone flying or even cleaning. I mean, that pump could be running perfectly and tomorrow it blow up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's $2,000, $2,500 that you're going to spend on the pump. You're going to get it. I mean, you may be like us in the middle of nowhere and you got a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive. Somebody's going to have to go get that pump, or you're going to have to overnight it. So that 2025 turns into $3,000 or $4,000 like that. So when you build in those margins of error, you could actually win if you execute, good or safely or with no problem.
Yeah, and 65% margin on a 6-figure project is fantastic margin.
Yeah, and that's why, like, the bigger the project, the more money can be made, but the more money can be lost, right? So that's my educated guess based off of past projects we've done and scope and size. So, I'm not saying that the guy that just bought a drone that landed something big is going to be in that margin, because you got to know how to clean. Like, part of this, keeping that margin high, has been properly trained on how to clean and fly and be efficient with every flight, every cleaning pass, down to how you turn the pump on and off, is building that efficiency to where speed equals money.
Well, I think the other important factor here is, you mentioned earlier, you had non-drone cleaning companies reaching out to you, traditional cleaning companies reaching out to you to subcontract to you. Yeah. So off the bat, when you're bidding this project, and even as you're awarded this project, you're actually saving your customer money, because that the traditional methods are going to end up costing, many $1,000s more than what you bid at.
Yeah.
And so you're willing to leave a little bit of money on the table to win the job, but also make fantastic margin. I think that's a very important point to put across.
Well, one of the best things that I was told is you can't hit a home run every time.
Yeah.
So yes, these projects look like home runs, and they're great projects. I mean, like, we're very fortunate to be in the position we're in with these bigger projects, but not everyone's gonna be a home run. So you have to hit a ground ball, get on base to win the game. So, you have to plan. One of my favorite quotes is, "What you fail to plan, plan to fail."
Right.
And you really have to walk through every aspect and play these devil's advocates, because there's been, in my early years in cleaning, I learned a lot of the, oh crap, this happened, I almost lost money, I didn't make as much money. And then you fine tune those things through time and experience, and then you can predict these jobs better. You can plan these jobs better. So I can confidently say to you that we're going to be in that 65 to 75% margin,
because you're building in that error.
We've built in the error.
Human error.
If the crap absolutely hits the fan, we're at 65. I mean, like, almost catastrophic, we're at 65, unless drone crashes and something like that, or a hose blows up, or our trailer catches on fire, or we have a wreck on the way to the job site. Those are things that people don't think about. There are so many things you cannot control in the cleaning business that could just happen, and so you have to build in. So like this project, we allotted about 2 weeks time to do it. Is kind of what I planned on. After seeing what I've seen on day one, I think we're looking at a week to a week and a half, realistically.
Yeah, and as you know, we'll show the footage, but day one, it's not even a full day. It's maybe 5 hours of work.
Yeah.
You're halfway through the backside,
Yeah,
which
well,
is the worst,
yeah.
the worst side, the hardest
Yeah.
side of the building. You're already halfway done,
Yes.
if not more.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we'll be ahead of schedule, which could make our margin jump more, but I can confidently say 65 to 75, 65 worst case.
So you scheduled 2 weeks.
Yep.
Based on what we're seeing, you might be done in a week or less.
Yeah, a week. I think a good 5 days
Yeah.
to 6 days we're looking at, because we can't work weekends, so there'll be which is great. We'll have a break, but we can work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is not
And
common.
that's the casino stipulation.
Yeah, that's casino stipulation. That's not common. Normally we're there, 7, 8 o'clock till dark.
Yep.
And then we'll repeat the next day and the next day and the next day until we're done. We'll work through the weekend. We'll get projects done, knock them out. But that's their stipulation. So 5 to 6 business days, I think we'll have this thing whooped and be sending a bill for payment.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on another great project, The Godfather.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming.